Part 2 of the documentary on the Lions' 1974 tour, The Invincibles, tonight from 9 o'clock on Sky Sports 2. The squad leave tomorrow, the 2009 vintage. The first match on the 2009 tour is next Saturday against the Royal 15 in Rustenburg from 1:30 Sky Sports 1 and HD 1. At the break though, 13-9, Leicester going for their third Heineken Cup. Leinster going for their first. Need to be a bit more clinical when in scoring positions, but this Tigers offence difficult to breach. Let's get back to Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Thanks, Simon. This time next week we'll be in the bar. I mean, we'll have done a game already in South Africa on the Lions tour. But that is for another day for everybody, most importantly for the likes of Brian O'Driscoll, against the might of men like Alessandro Tuilagi. 2 minutes left on the Simbin. Leicester Tigers taking full advantage of it before the interval.
And you know Leicester will be pretty pleased with the 4-point lead. Don't forget, they didn't concede a try in 80 minutes against London Irish in one final. They've got another 40, so if they can get another penalty, a 7-point lead the Tigers think is won. They can defend pretty well.
Sam Vesti starts this second half. And there's Jamie Heaslip, another man bound for South Africa. And there's another in Luke Fitzgerald. And that was taken back inside the 22. According to the officials.
That's the second pass. Fitzgerald just thinks with the first pass, you see, that Whittaker has stepped from out to in. And I think Fitzgerald, to be honest, because the immediate pass to him, this one, he just thinks that's the one, and they've just gone to sleep there. It's initially Whittaker, that's the reason, and that is a big error.
Well, the ruck had formed outside the 22, the ball had to be coming back in towards it, so Shooter throws. And there's the man who came on for the injured Jordan Crane, Lewis Deacon. It's a knee injury we're hearing for Jordan Crane. That will be of interest to Martin Johnson.
Leave it.
And here's Ajersa, and that is of great interest to Leinster, who really had to battle hard to stop the rolling Argentinian there.
Push back, lads.
And this is turning into a purple patch now for the Leicester Tigers. If they can get some points here, either side of half-time. Cullen knows it and tries to block again, and selfishly puts his body in the way. Dupuis to Vesti. Oh, Sexton clinging on there. Dupuis again to Castro Giovanni. It's come out of the hands of Dupuis and then lost by the hands of Kay, but the referee said it was an offence at the ruck.
Come round offside, and it's just discipline too poor. There's no chance that Dupuis is going to tap and go. There's no Bath quick tap quarter-final heroics here. It's what we said at half-time, as the penalty is conceded now. Boot there, and you know, as we said, another 3 points for Leicester, 16-7. It doesn't feel, it doesn't look like any sort of lead, but when you have gone 123 minutes without conceding a try, you think, we can defend this. And Leicester won't defend, they'll keep going, but this is a useful cushion and it puts real pressure on Leinster.
Dupuis, and we're seeing why Leicester don't want to lose him. Not just a scrum half, but a kicker as well. And that is 16-9 and something for the supporters wearing those colours to celebrate, certainly, but nothing is done yet. Stan Wright is back on. Oh, it hurt them, hurt Leinster.
10-0 in that 10-minute period.
Horgan to O'Driscoll. Whittaker. Nathewa. Wright straight back into it. And straight back into another Leicester tackle. Sexton, who was that controlling influence in the first half, and he needs to rediscover that, and he needs to have the platform too.
Yeah, it seems a long time ago since he was just easing those kicks into corner. That's not such a good one. And here, prop on prop, Martin Castrogiovanni, so important to them. Julian White scrummages for Leicester, but he's pure scrum. Castrogiovanni in attack and defence, so dynamic.
Shooter and Kay. Kay has played in all 3 previous finals before Leicester's, since Leicester's first one, of course, against Bree back in the early years. Up from Nafewa, back into the clouds, which thankfully have dissipated. We've got a very pleasant evening. That rain has gone away, and Jordan Murphy. Ooh, dear no. Doesn't normally do that. Here comes Elsom. Ooh, he does normally do that.
Slowed down though, isn't it, by the Tigers?
Whittaker, Nafewa. Can Leinster get that rhythm back? Jackman, and there were certainly posing threats when he went through midfield. Nafewa to Fitzgerald. Heaslip is trying to get there with him to Ilangi. I suppose cute play, but it was illegal. He was making sure that the supporting man was not going to arrive in time. Here's Sexton and Cullen, and Sexton again. And Wright, who's had that rest, and it's starting to show. There's plenty of energy there. Cian Healy drops it, picked up by Dupuy. Oh, Dupuy snaps away. The shaggy-haired scrum half. Elsom, shaggy hair too. And a good handoff, and a good step, and what a run.
My Lord.
Whittaker to Jackman with that bullet head. Whittaker again to Horgan. Sexton, good hands. O'Driscoll saw the space. Across goes Hamilton, and Darcy's got him first. Blitzed him.
That's all about the Australian Rocky Elsom. Jordan Murphy having a horrible couple of minutes, fired 2 balls down his throat. Croft, hand it off, get out the way, you're quick. Tuolangi, you're strong, so they say. Little dummy, I'll just leave you standing there. And in the end, George Shooter goes high, and Croft has come back for more, but that lifted the team, and then O'Driscoll, with the daintiest little kick, pins them in the corner.
Rocky Elsom was involved in a car accident this week, and of course when that happens, should say thankfully nobody hurt, although apparently the car was. I mean, it's escalated already to the car was a write-off. Elsom walked away. But it sort of sums it up. I'm happy to believe it.
He's an iron man. Matt Smith coming on now. He really needed that lift, Leinster, there from Elsom. That's quite significant.
It is very significant because, as you can see, it is Jordan Murphy who is taking his leave, and the Tigers lose their leader to be replaced by young Matt Smith, who's had a very strong season. Emulated his father Ian by playing in a final against London Irish when he came on last week, a little bit earlier than this. Now he replaces Murphy in the Heineken Cup final. And Dan Carter of the All Blacks and Perpignan, who of course took on Leicester in this season's Heineken Cup in the pool.
Well, of course, Dan Carter now will see his old teammate Scott Hamilton, teammate at Canterbury Crusaders. He'll be switching now from wing to full back. Smith will go on the wing. Hamilton now has got some pretty big boots to fill, the captains.
And Hamilton's new captain will be Ben Kay, and Martin Castrogiovanni was the other player down, and he's okay, as opposed to Ben Kay.
Well, Ben Kay could really lift his team now as the new captain by just putting the pressure on Bernard Jackman. So often a suspect thrower. Kay and Croft, they'd love to nick this.
Jackman. Elsom. It's always going to be his.
He wants to make this half his, doesn't he?
And another command display from Elsom in the rest of this match. And he and Leinster will be hard to stop here. But Wright is stopped again. Newby and Deacon and Whittaker to Jackman, and here comes Healy. That was lovely play by the front row men. Now it's the backs. O'Driscoll, their leading light. Ooh, and Fitzgerald nearly got through there. Here's Whittaker and Jennings. Whittaker to the blind side. Elsom. His fellow Australian Whittaker again. To Wright.
All tight now, all tight Leinster. Horgan going wide, but there's no real inclination to attack.
Big moments these. Crunch time in the match. Sexton to O'Driscoll. O'Driscoll. Woods, the try scorer, makes the tackle that time in the spot nearly where he scored in the first half, and now it's Leinster threatening to hit that spot. Hitting the ruck is O'Kelly. Here's Whittaker, and here is Heaslip. They do hit the spot, and now the blue flags in full evidence, and Leinster's European dream comes right back into focus.
Heaslip with the try, but Shane Jennings, the man who was in the sin bin because of Stan Wright, he plays a seminal role, the former Tiger. Heaslip goes for the line, but just watch the man alongside him. The turbo rocket. O'Driscoll steps inside Croft. There's the stretch, but then as Heaslip comes late, you're going to see Jennings very close, sticks to him, drives him over, pushes the man through, strong from the Lion number 8, superb from Jennings. 16-all, we have ourselves a Heineken Cup final.
We certainly do, as we have ourselves a level scoreboard. A little bit reminiscent of the Leicester try, the way the man was driven over.
Yes, it is, it is. It's something in the last year's Heineken Cup final, as Martin Corrie grimaces there. It reminded me also of Alan Quinlan in that monster win against Toulouse for that try. 16-all. They needed that try, didn't they? Because I think if Leicester had repelled them there, you know, Leicester start to think no one gets over our line.
Half an hour just over to go. We'll just avoid the extra time penalty shootout debate for now.
For now.
Here's Tuilangi, who did not avoid Shane Horgan and company. And Horgan's in trouble there. He's still down. Hamilton feeds to Hipkiss. Looks for that handoff on O'Driscoll.
Nice touch from Tuilangi. He just went over to Horgan. Just said he all right, and it was a sympathetic one.
Dupuis. Vesti. He's upended now by his old club colleague Jennings. The physio's trying to get off. Horgan trying to get back in the match. There he is, he's down again on the canvas. Smith, Matt Smith. Dupuis. Woods thought about it to Castro Giovanni. Vesti. Hit came in from Elsom, but it was man and ball time. And I think that is going to be the way right the way through now. These hits are going to rain in, and it's a Leinster penalty for holding on.
I don't think there's any doubt at all, you know. Since that try, the intensity of Leinster's defence has really picked up. But on the subject of intensity, Shane Horgan, he's a big, strong wing, but Tuilangi just huffed and he puffed and he steamed over him. But there was a really lovely touch a minute or so later from Tuilangi. That is genuine. He goes over to him and he just says, "Are you all right?" That's not a sort of, hey, There's more of that to come. That was a show of concern. It was genuine. Well played, Tuolangi.
Yeah.
It's Saturday, Shane. And Elsom showing the scars of which he will care very little.
It's his twin brother bleeding. There are two Elsoms playing in the second half. Now another massive kick. We've said it so many times this season. Johnny Sexton, 23. First Heineken Cup final start. Biggest game of his career as a starter. What pressure.
Well, he's got the drop goal from distance. Now can he get the penalty goal? It's for the lead. It's going to struggle, is it? Yes. Hamilton puts down.
Slight difference, isn't there? The drop goal, it's very much an instinctive kick. You don't have time to think about it, and we know he can hit them from 50 metres with that drop. He had a minute to prepare for that kick, and it's 52 gone, and it's 16 all, and the posts start to get narrower as the broad man comes on for the Tigers. Watch the Tigers scrum try and explode into life now.
What a man to be able to bring on in the tight. Julian White for Martin Castrogiovanni. Of course, Castrogiovanni is more mobile around the field. Here's Hamilton. Is continuing where Jordan Murphy left off, but that somehow got its way behind Jamie Heaslip's back. Referee didn't like what he saw at the ruck.
If it wasn't a contradiction in terms, he could take the art of solidity to the spectacular level, because he makes so few errors, Hamilton, and you really see him do something spectacular, but he does all the basics brilliantly, and that's a hard-earned penalty for Leicester.
Does the history play any part here? Leicester players who've been here before, Leinster players, some star names, but as a group haven't been in this situation in a final in Europe.
I think often it does, but when you've got competitors like Elsom and O'Driscoll, I think they'll carry everyone with them. I just think this is now the present time. 16 all, 54 minutes, 26 to go. It's about the here and now.
Yeah, it's gloves off now, isn't it?
Oh, and it's getting physical. It's getting physical.
Croft. So even moments like this, intensely physical with the press, leads to the penalty.
Cian Healy's done a superb job there. We talked about Castrogiovanni and his absence from Leicester. Just determined defensive work. Watch the press here from Healy. That's a loose head, and he says to the Tigers, you're not going forwards 1 inch, you're going back a metre. And that gives Sexton a chance not to go for goal after his last miss, but to push for the corner. It's a little conservative, but Leinster, they hold territory.
Now is it starting to look that Leicester scored their points when they had the extra man. It was the 7th sin bin in the competition for Leinster this season, and that's the most of any side. As the Tigers make a change at hooker, that is goodbye for now. You have to say that with the front row men to George Shooter. Onken's Benjamin Kaiser has played on this ground as a replacement for Stade against Toulouse in the 2005 final, which did go to extra time but didn't have a try.
Yeah, I'm just picking up on that point about the yellow card. It was 10-0 to Leicester during that period, you know, and Leinster will say to themselves, OK, 15 against 15, we're 16-6, we're in control of this game. It was when we lost our man, we lost control, and they do have the experience to think calmly like that. And it's easy for us in the stand, in the commentary box, and the studio to think that, but the art of winning finals is thinking that on the pitch, and they've got the experience to do that.
Leinster lose their hooker as well as Jackman goes and John Fogarty comes on. Have the beating of his brother in the semi-final. Ooh, look at that again. Healy arriving, Sexton, Darcy. Healy's there once more. He's a driven man as the loose head.
It's time for Leicester to defend now. They really have to. Reprieve there. Whittaker's knock on. But you know, Leicester, they got themselves up to 16-9. But that try from Heaslip, it definitely has lifted Leinster. There's no doubt at all. They're on the front foot. But this is like a game of sections. We saw Leinster for the first 20 in the first half, and the Tigers came back. The Tigers have now got to say to themselves, OK, we've got some defending to do, but hang on, we'll have our spell again.
It's all over for Martin Corrie in a Leicester shirt, announced his retirement.
Play the ball!
And that is a Leicester penalty, and that might be the influence of Julian White.
Well, Leicester have made the move to try and shore up to start dominating in the last quarter of this game, the scrum.
Could be an escape.
It's not going to hurt your scrum having White come on, that is for sure.
Scott Quinnell to assess it all at the scrum.
Yeah, we saw the Guinness Premiership final last week, and a big scrum by Leicester that really turned it around for them. This time, look, Julian White comes on, he goes straight. Leinster, they crab round, and as they come round, Leicester still go straight, big power, and then it'll be a penalty from Nigel Owen.
Well, what a good saying. Castrogiovanni hurts them in terms of defensive power, but if you're scrumming like that and you're controlling the set piece, you don't have to defend.
Kaiser and Croft, and then Vesti and Tuilangi. And still Tuilangi. And even Elson was struggling to hold on to the Samoan there. Shane Jennings working away, had the disappointment of defeat for Leicester in the 2007 final. Here's Mathewa. We can only watch a couple of kicks here from Leicester. First, both from Vesti. First for the penalty, nothing particularly flash or going for too much distance, just to set a position. Now he's done the same with ball coming out of hand.
Well, that is a flash kick though, isn't it? The first one was the percentage, but that's a killer blow, and that's the rugby computer working overtime from Sam Vesti. Great percentages from the Tigers, and again now this is where Captain Kay and Croft say, can we get to Fogarty? Inexperienced hooker will be a challenge, surely.
Titles are won by squads, and Fogarty needs to show that now. Was that straight? Nigel Owens had a look, and his second look, three looks. He wasn't sure, was he, the referee?
Lewis Deacon tried to help him.
Let it come, Green! Hands away, Green! Okay. Hands away!
The breakaway, and that could mean a loss of control from Leinster. They throw the bodies in again to keep the ball.
Whittaker should take this one, don't go to Sexton.
He does. So often in those situations you see the box kick from the scrum half, and if the chase is good enough, the winger come fullback Hamilton doesn't get time to get it away.
Oh, that was very good from Chris Whittaker. Easy option was to go to his young fly half, but he was pinned in the corner. Whittaker said, I'll take responsibility, my forwards have given me the screen. He's only made 20 metres, but it's taken his team out of harm's way.
Kaiser again. Kay, the new captain. Here's Vesti. Good ball into midfield to Hipkiss. Lewis Moody is about to come on, and his interjections in recent times have been very good ones. Look, Heaslip trying to rip this. In comes Cullen, realising what's happening. Oh, it's an almighty mess, isn't it? Bodies all over the shop there, all over the shop floor. And there's Croft.
He was not going around Rocky Elson there.
Dupuis and Kaiser. He will be leaving the club at the end of the season. Hamilton. Oh, is this going to fall for a Rinley? He went for the over-flash pass, really. We talked about Vesti playing the sensible rugby, while Rinley Well, had it worked, of course, we would have been admiring it, so let's not be too hard.
Just no doubt at all, Leinster still trying to play this squeeze game, but if this pass can just cut out, if we can just see this here, this ball here on the outside, and when you roll it on, you can see there's just a danger that O'Driscoll and his mate are caught wide. If that pass goes out to Croft initially, as you can see there, he is really in business.
That changed then Lewis Moody. Kay tries to lift his troops. Moody, who had that nasty ankle injury at the start of the year, and coming back from that, as I say, he's been really strong when he's come on, hasn't he?
He's been fantastic. The little offload in the Premiership final last week set the way to open the gap for Rinley. Very good when he came up in the semi-final against Bath. And there's a man who's gone really well as well, Cian Healy. Leinster will want him back on quickly, no doubt about that.
Ronan McCormack back on 15 years after he won the Leinster Schools Cup. McCormack trying to win the Heineken Cup, dedicated to the cause.
Time on, middle, okay? Crouch, touch, pause, engage in.
A quarter of normal time left, we should say now.
Green, not
Looking at that scoreboard, penalty gone against Marcus Angiusa for not binding at the scrum properly, and he's pulled away by Benkei. Let's not argue or concede ground.
It's very interesting now, 20 minutes to go. The mindset of these teams so important. You and I at the press conference yesterday, we heard Michael Cheika say you've got to go and win these finals. You cannot hope not to lose. Will Leinster go for it, or will it be the Tigers with the nerve to win it?
Hamilton and Horgan.
Coming back, wait through.
Tuilangi's going to have a lot of time here, but he's not the best kicker, so Vesti is, and he still had enough time to do that, but Leinster won't complain. And Michael Cheika also said yesterday, didn't he, that all seasons have their highs and lows. It's in this part of the world, it is just unreasonable to expect a side to stay on the high all the season. Of course, Cheika and Cockrell at the start of the year, Richard Cockrell, who had the sort of axe potentially over him, were very much, you know, not sure of their positions with their sides. Could end the season with the Heineken Cup. Here's Fitzgerald.
Leinster would like to get him in the game more.
Mallow Kelly.
Let it come, Blue.
Autumn is turning into winter for O'Kelly.
The lefty goal, he will turn
He's
over
part
ball.
of conceding a penalty here. Of course, the likes of O'Kelly, were they to win a medal today, and what reward. That's Vesti going for a little bit more distance that time. Not as conservative, and it doesn't work. Nathewa.
Oh, he's hit that one.
To Tuilangi. Hamilton. Look at that Leinster line. It was a good chase there by an awful lot of players, but Hamilton takes them out with the chip ahead, and then it's good hands from him and also Hipkiss, and then it's Matt Smith. Rinley to Dupuis. Benkei. 17 minutes left of the Heineken Cup final. And put off by O'Driscoll. Is he clutching himself there, Brian O'Driscoll?
Just hooked that one out. Looks as if he landed awkwardly on the shoulder. We have seen Brian O'Driscoll take many a tumble this season, and he does have that elastic ability to get up, but he did look in pain there.
Carry on, lads, please.
O'Driscoll just on the pitch, Nigel Owens rightly saying.
Carry on.
You felt he was coming back from that, didn't you?
He is changing position here, though, for a moment while he recovers his full strength. He's gone to wing. Vesti. Hipkiss. Oh, that's forward. and it's given.
Initial Nigel Owen said flat, but I think his touch said, I don't know, forward, and it was forward. And Brian O'Driscoll definitely is just struggling with that shoulder at the moment. And Leinster were trying to hide him on the left wing. They can't play him in the midfield because Hipkiss, who's been a bundle of power all afternoon, and Rinley, they will just look for that weakling and they'll burst through it. So he's being hidden while he tries to recover his full powers.
Strong Leicester scrum, but it's back with Chris Whittaker. Hamilton. Southern Hemisphere recruits both, and adding so much. Scott Quinnell.
Yeah, they're certainly not thinking about the Lions out there. We see here, he gets a big hit. Brian O'Driscoll there, but then newbie comes in, and he's going to finish him off. He has a bit of a facial, no thought about the flight tomorrow, just about winning this game today.
A bit of a facial. Scott, in your Llanelli days, did you ever dream of opening up a beauty parlour, I wonder?
Not a beauty parlour, but if you've got opportunity to have a back in the ruck, you've got to show them the reason why forwards go through it week after week.
Oh, Scott, you're a hard man.
Haven't you seen his nails? It's Whittaker to the Leinster backline. And again, he's the dynamo, isn't he, Whittaker, and he's trying to get them moving here. Sexton, Nathewa with a Rinley all over him. Nigel Owens just checks with his assistant in case it was a late challenge. Horgan, and down it goes from Elsom. And this is going a long way too, but the in-goal areas here are big, very big here at Murrayfield, and therefore there'll just be a 22 dropout.
It does give you a capacity, doesn't it, to almost boot the ball away without thinking. They're one of the biggest in international rugby. Well, Rinley's got in the air and he's turned his back, and there's something of nothing in that. Did anyone even appeal? I just followed the ball, I didn't see an appeal.
I heard a few. Sexton dropped by Heaslip.
Eye off the ball. Played well in this half, Jamie Heaslip, but quarter of an hour to go. These are the little errors that just hand territory away, and both sides start to think about territory first, points next. Look at that from Sexton, the young fly half, just saying, come on boys.
And tiredness will inevitably start to creep in, not just physical but mental too, and playing on the mental side of that mistake, Michael Checker, well, he's certainly feeling it in the head. Dupuy, Hipkiss, Hamilton, Vesti, meant for a Rinley, but it's counter-attack ball for Nathewa. Went for the boot there. Leicester won't mind that. Here's Hamilton again. Fitzgerald, still Brian O'Driscoll, lurks on the wing. Fitzgerald goes away from him, cuts inside. Electric burst there from Luke Fitzgerald, but down goes Julian White.
Roll away now, Green, let it come.
But it's going to be Leinster ball. O'Kelly, that's high for the bandaged Healy. Elsom just says, give it to me and I'll get us going forward here.
Leicester need to get numbers wide there. There's a lot of blue shirts.
Let's see if it goes that way. Sexton to Heaslip, and Darcy with a little juggle which takes out a bit of momentum, but Horgan gets it back. Whittaker, Darcy wants to work something, finds Nathewa. Fitzgerald in the way, but not illegally so, says Nigel Owens. Whittaker again. Darcy heavily involved here. Ajursa with the tackle. Whittaker to Fitzgerald. It's just not coming to O'Driscoll. It might now. There it is. Brian O'Driscoll gamely goes on, beating men. Well, that's not bad for an injured man. In comes Kay. He's been asking for discipline from his side, and through there. Penalty, very kickable. It's not Vesta's, it's not Leicester's. And the squeeze is on here.
You asked the question about O'Driscoll, and he comes up, as he so often has in the career, with his answers. Key break, key moment for Johnny Sexton.
Excuse moment now.
Yeah, the turnover, here we come, Whittaker, he gets over the ball, there he is, his hand's in there, but look at Stan Wright, he sees that, and a good opportunity to take it over as he goes in. Big right arm there for Stan Wright. He comes over, he wins that ball, and that leads to a possible 3 points for Leinster.
Now this is very close to the spot, maybe 5 metres back from where Johnny Sexton came on in the semi-final against Munster. His knockout Heineken Cup odyssey started in about the 20th minute. Will this be the kick that takes him within 10 minutes of a glorious homecoming?
Well, the young man nailed it in the semi-final. Can he do the same here in the final?
It's a whole world of different pressure now. As there's an hour to go then, there's 10 to go now, and it's a level.
And that's the key thing, isn't it? Just 10 to go. Sexton. It's there! Nobody was entirely sure. Certainly not the kicker, but Johnny Sexton. Is the cup staying in Ireland? Is that the score?
Attention can squeeze giants, and when he struck that ball, I thought young Johnny Sexton had been caught in its grip. That is not his best strike, but it had just about enough. And now, Sam Vesti, having seen that his opposite man get the pressure kick, Vesti has made a big error.
And that is pressure. And all the time, you know, while Vesti was shaking his head and players were going back to halfway for the expected scrum, Brian O'Driscoll was coming up the touchline and thinking about the quick line out. O'Driscoll is never out of the zone, even though he's out of position.
Huge experience, exactly. The left wing, who's just been putting Tuolangi under pressure, he earned the penalty, but that was a wonderful effort from Sexton. He will kick many balls with more elan than that, but as Richard Cockrell comes down for the last 8 minutes, he may not kick in his entire career a more important penalty. And then Vesti out on the full. They'd love to see Leinster, this man Sexton, drill one deep surely here. Other way.
Oh, Carney on and Carney kicking, and Hamilton feeling the heat as well now, and just listen to this gathering roar.
Well, we said he takes solidity to the spectacular levels, but that's an error from Hamilton. That ball was going out, and he's just thinking 8 minutes to go. Do I have to do something? Do I have to try something magical? He's waited, he's got time. He could have gone into touch and just throw in. Ooh,
Fogarty throws. This is loose, and Lewis Moody going down there, and no knock-on given. Here's Rinley, that's gone backwards as well. Hipkiss knew what was going to come there. We talked about Leicester bringing on Julian White at the scrum, and what about bringing off a man who's going on the Lions tour, Rob Carney, off the Leinster bench, and that kick. And now Hamilton, who found himself in trouble on the touchline, boots it long to Nathewa. And Nathewa looks for the outside. Oh, he might have found it, Horgan. Just ran out of space.
Try scoring, match-saving piece of defence there from the Tigers. Nathewa, he really can conjure something in nothing. Worked that beautifully. And Tuolangi, he's missed 1 or 2 this half, but he wasn't going to miss Shane Horgan. He ran over him once, he ran him into the hoardings there, and he had to.
Benkei, captains take that. Dupuy at 16-9 down. It was looking bleak for Leinster. They've worked so hard to get this back, but not just back, but get on top. But how on top? There's a mistake from Horgan. Ellis about to come on. Harry Ellis, another Lion.
Well, just when Leinster were turning the pressure valve, Shane Horgan, one of the most experienced players in the team, sees the ball squeeze through his body. Normally you'd say that's an inexplicable error, but this place is now dripping with tension. Dripping with this stuff.
Touch, pause, engage, in. Good, that's okay.
Dupuy, Vesti, Arinley, looking for the big crash now, the one that might make the difference and take his side to the trophy. Kaiser is held.
Stay still, Lamar, it's fine.
That's the halfway line. Dupuy, Vesti on the loop from Kay, Vesti again to Ilangi, can't take. Smith, this is going to be uncomfortable. And it certainly was. Losing their composure here, the Tigers.
Yeah, well, this is the world that Leinster wanted to have Leicester in. Trying to force the game.
Hey, both of them thought the same as me as the ball was coming in, okay?
O'Driscoll is trying to argue his way to a penalty there. Nigel Owens is strong. He said no, nothing either way. But your point you were making there, absolutely right. Leicester are being forced to attack from deep, and Leinster are thinking we can finish the game if you do that.
Well, it was Whittaker who ended on his bottom, and it was Ben Kerr who came and put him there, right in front of the referee. Could not have had a better view. Fogarty to throw. It's 5 minutes now. Cullen takes the ball. Is he going to lift the trophy against his former club?
Let it come, run.
Former Tiger now leaping like a salmon.
Whittaker and Fogarty.
Use your feet.
Healy just protects the fringe there. Heaslip, the try scorer. Whittaker, they're starting to polish the trophy here. Whittaker again to right.
Oh, they've got to win it yet, though. Leicester are good enough to steal it back.
I wasn't referring to Leinster. The trophy handler.
Looked shiny yesterday. It looked very shiny in 5 minutes.
And the running down of the clock does not lead to the desired result for now for Leinster.
Good on you, Nigel Owen. Too many times in the Heineken Cup we've seen tight games when teams are 5 minutes from winning, they just go over the top, and referees seem to think in the last 5 you're allowed to do it, and Nigel Owen just says no. And Leicester get the ball back, and that was Leinster not trying to win the game but close the game.
Well, it goes back to that Michael Checker comment, doesn't it?
Yeah. You know, week 4 we've seen games. Remember Bath right at the start of this tournament against Toulouse, they had the game and they didn't win it. They tried to hang on and they lost.
And Leicester will remember the quarter-final, how they stole it from Bath, and the semi-final, and the dramatic end there from the Blues, but a dramatic line-out as Jennings takes and kicks and Heaslip chases. We see the pace of Croft, 2 Lions locked there, and as it stands, it's that man, Jamie Heaslip, who's going to end on the winning side, and Jennings might have created that winning moment.
Well, the former Tiger open side has just produced a marvellous moment of invention. Superb initiative there. The other Lion, the other Tiger man, Leo Cullen, now in a position. They're so close. Brilliant work from Jennings.
Lewis Deacon comes in, brilliant work from him. Ellis to Vesti and Arinley. It is going to have to be very special from there for Leicester Tigers. And don't they know it? Vesti Beaten in the final 2 years ago, the Tigers. Got to go back to 2002 since they last won it. Leinster looking for their first, and Nathewa, and Moody, the brave. Nathewa too. Horgan, both sides now just scrapping for the ball. It might as well be the trophy they're tussling for on the floor. Whittaker, less than 90 seconds now. Big drive from Elson. What a match. What a knockout stage for him. The Leinster supporters demanding that their side do this now. They were going to get a penalty. They do get a penalty, the Tigers. Final minute, last chance.
Sam Vesti has to drill this one a long way now. He has to find touch. He's got less than a minute. That is conservative, but I guess Vesti's thinking, well, if I miss touch, we've given it up. Long way to go for the Tigers now against such a tenacious Leinster defence.
It's been a marvellous final in every aspect, and listen to Murrayfield now. Kaiser throws, in goes Elsom again, but there's some lifting at the line out. Free kick. Bit early there, in every sense, as far as Leinster are concerned. Back it goes for one more free kick for the Tigers, who try and go as deep down in the barrel as they can. Ellis, Croft, Ellis again hits the ruck. Clearance is from Newby too. Has to be now or never for the Tigers.
Still a penalty, Miles, to draw it.
Trying to get as close as they can for the 3 points. Looking for that range. Ajursa. Heaslip was there again. Leinster trying to hold their discipline.
That's a good metre surge from the Tigers.
That makes a difference. Starts to put the Tigers within range.
Let it come, you! Let it come!
Maul is pulled down, as you can still at the moment.
16, come back. 18, sorry. Don't touch it.
Going the wrong way for Leicester. If they want to drop goal, going far the wrong way.
There's the penalty, and it's gone to Leinster, and everybody knows it's Leinster at last. They've got there. Leo Cullen calmly checks. It wasn't just a final, but it's a first trophy as well. And the triangle of winners for Ireland in the Heineken Cup is complete. Ulster in '99, Munster 2006, and again last year, and now in Grand Slam year, it's Leinster. A different sort of triple crown then, and it's Leinster who complete it. And all those years of hurt suddenly seem to vanish away.
Well, Leicester